It is my birthday month. Hello bookish people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. In today's video we are doing my May book of the month predictions. And I got a little dressed up today. Do you know why we're doing May book of the month predictions? Do you know what's in May? My birthday. It is my birthday month. I am so excited. Book of the month better have good selections for my birthday month, especially because April was the month that I ended my reading slump. You guys, February, March, 2 months combined, I read 6 books. Okay, that is abnormal for me. So far this month, I have read 7 books so far. So I'm hoping to end the month around like 10 to 15 books, like somewhere in that range. Like not 15 books, but like in that range of 10 to 15. That is where I'm hoping to end the month. So I am super happy right now. My reading slump is over. It is my birthday month. So I'm very excited. And I love looking at all the new releases. And I'm getting this video up a little later than I typically do. I usually like to get these up on the 20th and not the 22nd. But the reason I'm late, it's not my fault. It's book of the month fault. Okay, they usually give us 2 in-app hints and we only have 1 so far. Okay, and I was waiting for the next graphic to go up. It usually goes up on the 20th, maybe the 21st, but no, they just have this advertisement for a sale for Mother's Day. So no, what are you doing? Get that off the homepage. Give me another hint because I like to be spoiled. Okay, I like to predict things. So we only have 1 hint, which we're going to go over, and then we're going to go over all the other predictions that I have that just have come from a brain because we have no hints to go off of. So yeah, let's get into it. So first we are going over the first and only in-app hint that we have this month, and it is this graphic with these little dashes and a paper plane, which looks identical to the cover of Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Now this book actually released April 11th, 2023, so if it wasn't for this graphic, this prediction would not be here because I would have never thought they put an April release in May. But hey, sometimes they do that. Sometimes they give you an early release. Sometimes they give you like a month back release. Okay, so we have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and there's so many reasons why I think this is accurate. Well, first of all, just the cover of the book versus the hint. Okay, you already got me there. But also Abby Jimenez was one of their book of the month selections last May, so May 2022. They picked Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and this is the second book in that kind of interconnected standalone romance series that all romance authors do. So this is like the second book in that series, so it would make sense for book of the month to select it also too, because Part of Your World received such positive feedback, and I think it was one of the book of the year, I don't know if it was a book of the year finalist, but it was a book of the year nominee, and I personally really loved it. And honestly, I did not even pick Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez as my like selection. I just ended up listening to the audiobook really randomly because it always had a waiting time, and then it didn't have a waiting time at the library, and Julia William was the narrator, and I was like, okay, let's listen to it, and it was amazing. I listened to it in one day. Easy 5 stars, and I'm very excited to continue this series. Okay, so in this book, you're following Dr. Brianna, and she works at a hospital, and she is just finalizing her divorce, and also going on in her personal life is her brother is sick, and he needs a kidney. He needs a kidney donor. And also, there is a new promotion in the hospital that she wants, but she thinks it's going to go to this other doctor, Dr. Jacob. Enter Jacob, her love interest. He is a doctor that has made a terrible first impression on Brianna, but then he sends her a letter, and she's like, wait, maybe he's not so bad. And then they start to form a friendship, and he actually ends up donating his kidney to her brother, and she's like, wait, I might love this man. And that might sound like I told you the whole plot and I'm spoiling everything, but that was everything in the synopsis. But again, it's impossible to spoil a romance book in my opinion, so there you go. There's a synopsis. It kind of tells you everything, but because I loved the last one, I know I'm going to love this one, so I'm very excited for this to be a selection. Now we're moving on to my fiction predictions, and I actually have 4 fiction predictions this month. I can't get over the rhyming of fiction predictions. I have 4 of them this month, and let's start out with the first one, which is this a prediction? Is it a hopeful? I don't know. You tell me. And that is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. And the reason I'm saying, is it a prediction or is it a hopeful? Well, Babel by R.F. Kuang was a pick in December, but that was like kind of like, you know, book of the month looks at all the super popular releases from the past year and then includes one in their December box. So is R.F. Kuang really going to be like a repeat author in that sense? Or I don't know. I don't know. Okay, and also this is out of R.F. Kuang's usual genre. Usually she writes fantasy. This is a literary fiction, so we shall see. But let's read the synopsis and let's just all hope it is a book of the month prediction together. Wait, a book of the month prediction? Oh, it is a prediction. Let's all hope it is a book of the month selection together. Okay, you guys, I am gonna read you directly from the synopsis because I have tried to summarize this in my own words and it's like it's not working. Okay, so we're going to the synopsis because it says it all. Okay, so we have authors June Hayward and Athena Liu were supposed to be twin rising stars, same year at Yale, same debut year in publishing. But Athena's a cross-genre literary darling, and June can't even get a paperback release. Nobody wants stories about basic white girls, June thinks. So when June witnesses Athena's death in a freak accident, she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just-finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers to the British and French war efforts during World War I. So what if June edits Athena's novel and sends it to her agent as her own work? So what if she lets her new publisher rebrand her as a Juniper Song, complete with an ambiguously ethnic author photo? Doesn't this piece of history deserve to be told, whoever the teller? That's what June claims, and the New York Times bestseller list seems to agree. But June can't get away from Athena's shadow, and emerging evidence threatens to bring June's stolen success down around her. As June races to protect her secret, she discovers exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. With its totally immersive first-person voice, Yellowface takes on questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, not only in the publishing industry, but the persistent erasure of Asian American voices and history by Western white society. R.F. Kuang's novel is timely, razor-sharp, and eminently readable. I am so excited. I really hope this is a pick because I want to read it. I will probably read it regardless. And this one is coming out May 16th, and we're crossing our fingers. It is a book of the month selection. Okay, I know I said I had 4 fiction predictions. Again, the rhyming. But I'm reading the synopsis for the one I put on this list, and I'm exiting it off the list, but I don't feel like re-editing it and being like, oh, I have 3 fiction predictions. So like, okay, I did have 4, but we're exiting it off the list, but I'll just mention to you really briefly. The one I thought I was going to put on this list, but now I'm exiting, is No Two Persons by Erica Boyermeister. This one is basically, it says 1 book, 9 readers, 10 lives change. It's a way of how books affect us. I don't know, it's like an interesting, and I'm not saying it's not interesting or not going to be good or whatever. It seems like a lot of people want to read it, but like, I don't know that it's really a book of the month selection. So I was thinking about this one, but I'm taking it off the list. The next fiction prediction I have is The Half Moon by Mary Beth Keane. In this book, you're following our main character, Malcolm, and he is a bartender, and he always had his own dream of owning a bar. So when his boss finally retires, Malcolm puts himself in some financial stress to stretch himself and buy the bar, and he has this big vision of it and how he's going to make it super successful, but when reality comes, he's just struggling to keep it afloat. And he's married to his wife named Jess, who has dedicated herself to her law career, but recently she has been trying to get pregnant and kind of coming to terms with the fact that maybe motherhood just is not in the cards for her. Award-winning author Mary Beth Keane's new novel takes place over the course of 1 week when Malcolm learns shocking news about Jess, a patron of the bar, goes missing, and a blizzard hits the town of Gillum. This one, it says 61,000 people want to read this book. It is coming out May 2nd. I always feel like when they're in the first half of the month, they have like a stronger chance. I don't know why. I don't know if that's true at all, but I always feel like, oh, if it's in the first half of the month, it has a strong chance of being an actual selection. The last fiction prediction I have is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, and this is one, after reading the synopsis, that I personally am so excited to read. I really like, whether this is a selection or not, I say this every month about so many new releases, but whether this is a selection or not, I will be reading this book. It is called The Wishing Game, and the synopsis goes, years ago, a reclusive, mega best-selling children's author quit writing under mysterious circumstances. Suddenly, he resurfaces with a brand new book in a one-of-a-kind competition, offering a prize that will change the winner's life in this absorbing and whimsical novel. Make-A-Wish. Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, and namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now a 26-year-old teacher's age, she is able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially 7-year-old Christopher Lamb, who was left orphaned after the tragic death of his parents. Lucy would give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming a family seems like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. But be careful what you wish for. Just when Lucy is about to give up, Jack Masterson announces he's finally written a new book. Even better, he's holding a contest at his home on the real Clock Island, and Lucy is one of the 4 lucky contestants chosen to compete to win the one and only copy. For Lucy, the chance of winning the most sought-after book in the world means everything to her and Christopher. But first, she must contend with ruthless book collectors, wily opponents, and the distractingly handsome and grumpy Hugo Reese, the illustrator of the Clock Island books. Meanwhile, Jack, the mastermind Masterson, is plotting the ultimate twist ending that could change all their lives forever. You might just get it. Oh my god, I'm so excited. It's tagged as fantasy fiction and magical realism. This kind of reminds me of like It's not the same book as Other Birds is like Sarah Addison Allen, like it's like totally different plots, but I don't know, it gives me like similar book of the month vibes. Like they picked Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen, that was like magical realism, condo, people coming together. I don't know, I just feel like it's similar, you know what I mean? It's like not similar, but it gives off the same vibes, and I feel like it could definitely be a selection. Really, I'm just getting it because that was a magical realism pick, and this could be a magical realism pick. That's literally the only thing that I'm saying is giving me the similar vibes. Now we're moving on to my fantasy predictions. I only have 2 fantasy predictions. The first one is Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. Now, the reason I'm having this as a prediction is because she is the author of Ariande, and that was a book of the month selection when it came out, but since that book, she released another book called Electra, and that wasn't a book of the month selection. So, I don't know, this one's kind of iffy. I looked at the fantasy like new releases for May, and I didn't really see many that jumped out at me like, ooh, book of the month would select that. So I really only picked this because she would be a repeat author, but we have this one, and Atalanta is basically, let me just read you the little blurb here. It says, a reimagining of the myth Atalanta, a fierce huntress raised by bears and the only woman in the world's most famous band of heroes, the Argonauts. She's a princess, warrior, a lover, and hero. I'm not really one for Greek mythology retellings. Like I always find them so fascinating when I read the synopsises, and I can't say that I dislike them. I just like, I never end up reading them. So there's this one. Maybe I would select it if it's a selection. I don't know. I'm interested to see if they have a fantasy pick this month and what it will be, because again, I haven't really seen too many great new release fantasy selections for May, so we shall see. Even more exciting, well, to me, than that book is The Enchanted Hacienda by J.C. Cervantes. So this is the second fantasy prediction that I have. Let's read the blurb. It says, when Harlow Estrada is abruptly fired from her dream job and her boyfriend proves to be a jerk, her world turns upside down. She flees New York City to the one place she can always call home, the Enchanted Hacienda Estrada. The Estrada family farm in Mexico houses an abundance of charmed flowers cultivated by Harlow's mother, sister, aunts, and cousins. By harnessing the magic in these flowers, that they can heal hearts, erase memories, interpret dreams, but not Harlow. So when her mother and aunt give her a special task involving the family's magic, she panics. How can she rise to the occasion when she is magicless? But maybe it's not magic she's missing, but belief in herself. When she finally embraces her unique gifts and opens her heart to a handsome stranger, she discovers she's far more powerful than she imagined. With unforeseen twists, romance, and heavy sprinkle of magic, The Enchanted Hacienda is a captivating coming-of-age debut, exploring identity, unconditional family love, and uncovering the magic within us all. I selected this one because I just love the synopsis. I think it sounds so interesting. It has a stunning cover. Also, it's a debut novel. We know Book of the Month loves debut authors, so I could see this definitely being a selection. It is one that if it is a selection, I will be reading. I will be purchasing. I shouldn't say I will be reading. I shall say I will be purchasing, because I have barely read any of my Book of the Month selections this year. Last year was so good. Like every month, like read your Book of the Month selections. This year, I've read one. It was the London Science Society. You'll see it in my April wrap-up, but I've read one so far. So, you know, I keep saying, oh, I'm going to read that. I'm going to read that. But, you know, I'm on my reading slump. So maybe if this is a selection, I will actually read it. Now we are moving on to my favorite genre, mystery thrillers. And honestly, mystery thrillers, like, I love them in general. But this month specifically, I have such a deep love for them, because mystery thrillers are what have gotten me out of my reading slump. I basically just been pinching a bunch of mystery thrillers this month. But yeah, let's get into my predictions. The first one is called The Chateau by Jacqueline Goldis. So this one says, a dream girl's trip to a luxurious French chateau devolves into a deadly nightmare of secrets and murder in this stylish, twisty thriller for fans of Lucy Foley, Ruth Ware, and Lisa Jewell. Should be mentioned that Lucy Foley, Ruth Ware, and Lisa Jewell all been Book of the Month selections before, and this says for fans of those people, and the synopsis just sounds too good. It says, welcome to the picturesque province, where the Lady of Chateau, Seraphine, I can't pronounce her last name, has opened its elegant doors to her granddaughter Darcy and 3 friends. 20 years earlier, the 4 girlfriends studied abroad together in France and visited the old woman on the weekends, creating the groups a deep bond. But why the sudden invitation? Amid winery tours, market visits, and fancy dinners overlooking olive groves and lavender fields, it becomes clear that each woman has a hidden reason for accepting the invitation. Then, after a wild evening celebration, Seraphine is found brutally murdered. As the women search for answers to the shocking crime, fingers begin pointing and a sinister Instagram account pops up, exposing snapshots from the friends' intimate moments at the chateau, while threatening to reveal more. As they race to uncover who murdered Seraphine and is now stalking them, they learn the chateau houses many secrets, several worth killing for. Oh my god. Oh my god, just stop. I am so excited for this book. Does that not sound amazing? First of all, I love this because like my mystery thriller preference is like, one, I like when people are kind of like trapped in an area, like one location, like okay, like the chateau, right? Also, I love like catty girls, like girlfriends, like girl groups, like, you know, just like the secrets, the drama, the gossip, like stuff like that. Love it in a mystery thriller. So this one just sounds like really good. Like what got me was amid winery tours, market visits, and fancy dinners overlooking olive groves and lavender fields, but then throw in murder. Like, you know what I mean? Like all of it mixed together just sounds so good. The next mystery thriller that I predicted is The Senator's Wife by Liv Constantine. Now, she is the author of The Last Mrs. Parrish, which was not a book of the month selection, but it was like an insanely popular book. I think every time I go to a thrift store, without fail, you can find The Last Mrs. Parrish. So just like heads up, if you want to read that book, go to any local thrift store. I guarantee you they will have it. Okay, maybe not like any, but I feel like I see it like 80% of the thrift stores I go into. Okay, so you know, very popular book. So let's get into the synopsis for this one. This one is a psychological thriller. It says, in this town, anyone is replaceable. After a tragic chain of events led to the deaths of their spouses 2 years ago, DC philanthropists Sloane Chase and Senator Whit Montgomery are finally starting to move on. The horrifying ordeal drew them together, and now they're ready to settle down again with each other. As Sloane returns to the world of White House dinners and political small talk, this time with her new husband, she's also preparing for an upcoming hip replacement, the latest reminder of the lupus diagnosis she's managed since her 20s. With both their hectic schedules, they decide that hiring a home health aide will give Sloane the support and independence she needs post-surgery. And they find the perfect fit in Athena Karras. Seemingly a godsend, Athena tends to Sloane and even helps run her charitable foundation, but Sloane slowly begins to deteriorate, a complication, Athena explains, of Sloane's lupus. As weeks go by, Sloane becomes sicker, and her uncertainty quickly turns to paranoia as she begins to suspect the worst. Why is Athena asking her so many probing questions about her foundation, about her past, and about Sloane? And could Sloane be imagining the sultry looks between Athena and her new husband? Riveting, fast-paced, and full of unbelievable twists, The Senator's Wife is a psychological thriller that upends the private homes of those who walk the halls of power, because when you have it all, you have everything to lose. Okay, sounds interesting. The Chateau is still my number one so far for new release mystery thrillers coming out in May for the most interesting. Also, this one could be a good contender. This one's a psychological thriller. Sounds really interesting. So yeah, this could also be a selection. And the last mystery thriller prediction that we have is One of the Girls by Lucy Clarke. And this is also a psychological thriller, has to do with a girls' trip. We already know I'm on board. So let's get into the synopsis. It says, it was supposed to be the perfect weekend away. 6 very different women travel to a sun-soaked Greek island for a bachelorette trip to celebrate Lexi's upcoming wedding. From the glorious ocean views to the quaint tavernas. In whitewashed streets, the vacation seems too good to be true, but dangerous undercurrents run beneath the sunset swims and midnight cocktails because each of the women is hiding a secret. Someone is determined to make sure that Lexi's marriage never happens and that one of them doesn't leave the island alive. Gripping, twisty, and full of sun-soaked suspense, the timey thriller explains the joys of female friendship as well as the deadly consequences when a relationship goes wrong. Sign me up, I'm on board, but I still want the Chateau. That one's my number one. I'm sorry, that one sounds too good, but like this one has a classic mystery thriller cover. It is still like rich girls, bachelorette trip, drama, suspense, catty, gossip, like, you know. I'll like this one too if this one ends up being the selection and I select it. We shall see. Because honestly, I'm kind of over buying mystery thrillers like just brand new. You know, I rather find them at the thrift store because I noticed that the number one like new release genre that I thrift at the thrift store is mystery thrillers. You know, that's the one where I feel like there's like a really quick turnaround time from when people buy them to when they donate them, because it is the type of book you don't really want to reread. So I'm only really buying new release mystery thrillers from Book of the Month. That's the only place I'm buying them, or else I'm going to thrift them. So maybe I come across this in a thrift store one day. Maybe it's a Book of the Month selection and I read it, but I'm very excited for this one. Now we are getting into our romance predictions, which honestly, I don't know, you guys, because romance, okay, the hint is obviously Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and that is a romance selection, right? That would be the romance selection. But I feel like in April they had like 3 different romance selections, because they had Adeline, I don't forgot what it was called, Adeline, romantic comedy, and they had one other one too that I felt like was kind of a romancy book. So after having so much romance in April, and then yours truly being a hint. Like, are they gonna have more romance in May besides yours truly? I don't know. So I kind of just think that's gonna be it. It's gonna be yours truly, but I do want to give a shout out to these books. We have Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. I'm just so obsessed with this cover. Like, it's like the pink, it's the girl with the jumpsuit overall romper thing, and it's the guy with the tattoos. Like, I'm obsessed. I love it. If they sold it at Target, I'll buy it. They closed the Barnes & Noble by me, so like, don't go there anymore. But if they have this at my Target, it might be an impulse purchase for me. I don't really know if it's gonna be a book of the month selection, but I wanted to shout it out because like I'm just obsessed with the cover. Also for romance, we have The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, and this one I don't even really want to put in this video, but the book of the month like predictions Facebook group, like this one people think has a very strong chance of being either an add-on or a selection, which I'm not really sure why, because In a Holidays was the only Christina Lauren book that book of the month has selected, and that was obviously like a special because it was like a holiday thing. Christina Lauren's a pretty well-established author, so I do feel like if it is a book of the month selection, it's definitely going to be an add-on, and I don't think it would be a main pick because again, they're well-established, and you know, usually I feel like they're more well-established authors like Ellen Hildebrand and stuff. They do those as the add-ons and not the main selections. So yeah, we have this one, which I don't know, I'm probably not going to read it. I'm not really a big Christina Lauren fan, but the only reason again that I put this in here is because this, per the Facebook group, has a strong chance of being a selection. And now we're getting into historical fiction, and again, this pick I'm pulling from the Facebook group as well, and that is The Secret Book of Flora Lee by Patty Callahan Henry. And we'll just read you the synopsis really quickly. Oh my god, the synopsis is so long. We're gonna read the bottom part because like I'm not a historical fiction girly. I mean, very rarely. Like Carrie Soto, okay. Lessons in Chemistry, okay. Like Evelyn Hugo, okay. Daisy Jones, okay. Like I really just named one author and then Lessons in Chemistry. Basically, that's the extent of my historical fiction. So I'll just read you the top sentence. It says, when a woman discovers a rare book that has connections to her past, long-held secrets about her missing sister and their childhood spent in the English countryside during World War II are revealed. I mean, it sounds kind of interesting. So, you know, it has a cute cover. It's a pretty, like, aesthetic landscape cover. So we have The Secret Book of Flora Lee, and that is my historical fiction prediction. So those are all the predictions. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. And yeah, I'm really excited for my next upcoming videos because we're going to have a TBR and a wrap-up in separate videos. I've been doing like wrap-ups and TBRs in the same videos because I've been in a slump, but the slump is broken. I have enough books to do a separate wrap-up, but right now I'm currently reading Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey and absolutely loving it. I am 20% into the book right now. So yeah, if you want to see my thoughts on that, subscribe down below. Look out for my wrap-up, look out for my May TBR, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!